Following up with bankruptcy leads during the holidays. We all have our opinion on this. We all have an idea of like, oh, the debtors are checking out. I think 2025 is different than previous years, as Adrian's going to mention to you. The reason why I have Adrian Hines, a ladylike lawyer, the person who brought us into the influencing game. Adrian, I don't know if you know this, we've had over 7,000 transfers now.
That's crazy.
7,000 influencer transfers.
That's great. That's
And
crazy.
crazy. And it all came from an idea where you found me on NACPA and you're like, I got this idea. Well, it clearly worked. Um, so Adrian has a unique perspective than a typical debtor attorney. Debtor attorneys, you talk to 5, 10, 20, 30, 40 people a week about debt and about whether they should do something now. Adrian responds to 2,000 comments a week. 200 direct messages a week nationwide. Very unique perspective. And I was like, Adrian, let's talk about following up with leads during the holidays because it's not a checkout. This is not the time to check out. And let's start with one of your videos. Okay, Adrian?
You know that big old fat debt problem that you've got? Tens of thousands of dollars in credit cards and medical bills and payday loans and personal loans and God knows what else? That can go away in bankruptcy. Bankruptcy is safe and legal in America, but you can't do whatever you want during the holidays. You can't just go willy nilly all crazy. You need to be talking to a bankruptcy lawyer today in order to learn what's going to be possible for you when the holidays are over. It is absolutely possible to have a wonderful holiday with your family, and it's absolutely also possible to get rid of your debt for 2026, but you have to plan it, which means you need to be talking to a bankruptcy lawyer now.
Adrian, kick us off with what you're feeling in the space with all these comments and all these direct messages. Like, what are you feeling?
I'll tell you exactly the sentiment that I'm getting from people. And I've been a practitioner now for, many years, just like a lot of you. And I definitely think that in years past, everybody checks out between Thanksgiving and Christmas, including us. I know historically the biggest time for us is right after Christmas. That's when a lot of our videos are going to hit. Obviously, people start thinking about it at that point. But this year feels different. I think the economy itself is different. I live in the state of Ohio, which allows wage garnishments. The wage garnishments, the collection activities are brutal right now. They are really coming after people, which is great for us because it means that these people are not caring so much about the fact that it is a holiday season, and they aren't caring quite so much about their tax refund. They are very willing and able to start thinking about this now because they're terrified. If you come into the holidays with a lot of debt and it's already a tight economic system, you know that time frame in your own mind is just very anxious and nauseating, right? That's how these people are feeling. And they don't necessarily feel that January is going to be a lot better. I think in years past, we always thought, oh, everything will be fine in January. And it feels like people understand that that's not the case. My phones are ringing off the hook right now. I don't have enough time in my schedule for everybody because there is a lot of need. And so I think that being able to grab and have an opportunity to talk to these people right now,
Yeah.
I'm getting people to sign fee agreements, make a deposit, start working on paperwork with the plan to get them filed right after the holidays. So I've got them following some basic instructions on preferences and gifts giving and, transfers and that type of stuff, payday loans. We're giving them practical, simple advice to get them through the holidays so that we can.
Adrian, let's unpack all that. Let's unpack
Yeah.
all that. Last week, you mentioned you had 18 appointments and 2 no-shows.
Correct.
18 appointments and 2 no-shows. That's
Yeah.
those stats are off the chart, especially in December, first week of December. Second of all, this concept of shifting the mindset from selling to coaching and guiding, right? Like what you're mentioning. You're all a debtor attorneys. You understand the details, right? You can't use credit cards in a certain way 90 days before filing. Luxury purchases, cash advances. These are things that you know. And these are things that the debtor is not thinking about, right? You need to guide the client. So in our text messaging, for those of you that we're doing we're doing the lead follow-up for you. Text messaging, email. We're talking about this. Be careful not to spend the wrong way on your credit cards. You need to start guiding the client to talk to the attorney now, just like you said in that video, so that they can be prepared properly. Coaching, guiding, as opposed to selling. But like you said, Adrian, when I brought that up before the call, you're like, but I'm still having them sign the fee agreements.
Yeah.
I'm collecting the first payments,
Yeah.
right? Like
Last
if
last week we converted 12 of those people, and we're
12 of the
still
16, 12 of the 16 that showed up.
yeah, and we've got a few more that I know are going to circle back, but they actually, I did give them I had an opportunity to tell them what I thought, make sure they were thinking about a few things. I'm fairly confident a few of them are going to call back, but yeah, we converted 12 last week.
I mean,
And that doesn't mean that they're paid in full. That means to us, they've signed the fee agreement, they got the paperwork, and they've made a deposit to us. And we have different levels of deposits depending on who you
course,
are and what's going on. But all of those have created a payment portal and have made a first payment into a portal. So
it's a nudge. It's a conversation
yeah,
of like, hey, this is what your front office staff should be dropping. This is what any type of communication should be dropped out of like, hey, be careful during the holidays and not spend the wrong way.
yeah,
Come talk to us. We'll guide you down the path. And if they're ready to sign the fee agreement, great. And if they're not, great. You're going to talk to them in 30 days or 60 days when they get their tax refund. As I wrote down here, your job isn't to get them filed. The job is to protect them for their next move in 30 or 60 days. And I just think that during December, there's a big checkout. And we
yeah,
can see it for the participation on this call, right? We typically get these calls are the same time every month. It's just people are like, I'm out, I'm gone, and that's okay. But there's just something to consider.
yeah, yeah.
Good.
I just don't think that this is a time to waste. If you're not, I mean, it's time to spend with your own family. I'm on vacation this week, so I'm not taking any clients this week. But it's important that like I'm taking all these clients. I never expected that 12 of those people would convert. I took on those clients. I scheduled those appointments, making the assumption that nobody would be paying until January. So really those weeks since Thanksgiving, I never expected to have this many people convert. That's been the surprise, frankly. So I think I'm encouraging you to take the phone calls, have the conversations with people, because you're going to be surprised. It's not like it was the last couple of years. It's not like it's been historically. This is a very rich time to be creating these relationships with people because they're very vulnerable. They don't look vulnerable, but you can imagine, as we get closer to the holidays with things as tight as they are, with they're trying to meet the expectations of their families, but they know that they can't. And it's very, very emotionally difficult time for people who are in debt. And so anybody who can offer a lifeline, even just to
Yeah.
hold their hand a little bit, it goes a long way right now in our industry. And when
So
you don't have as much to do anyway, so it's a good thing. And I was telling Phil, I mean, it's just really important that we have people lined up ready to go once January 1st hits, because we work on a fiscal year. So
for sure.
this is an
So
important part of it.
Adrian, before I open up the floor, what else are you seeing? 2,000 comments a week, 200 direct messages a week. Like, what are you seeing more than ever now?
I'm seeing people very focused on their credit scores. Any lawyer who's focusing and reminding people, I talk a lot about 7 steps to a 720 credit score, not because I just like to, sound like a broken record, but because my clients really like that I point out to them that this is one of the things that they're going to get. It is, we are going to help you. We're going to give you the tools to increase your credit score. So they are very worried about credit scores. They are very confused about what could go away in a bankruptcy. They are starting to explore it more more quickly and more naturally than they have in the past.
Mhm.
You know, at least from the people that I'm coming into contact with, and they're just a little bit more desensitized and they're a bit more curious and want to know. So get them in, get those
So
appointments,
wait,
answer
when
some
you say
questions.
desensitized, what do you mean desensitized to what?
I think they're more desensitized to the word bankruptcy.
Yeah.
I think they are. I think they're beginning to understand their desperation doesn't have to, that they can do something about their desperation. It feels like a little bit of a shift. It
Yeah.
does.
Well, I
It
mean,
does feel,
especially because I mean, watching things on social media
yeah,
about, I
yeah,
mean, all of a sudden, like, what's the shame about it?
yeah,
It's all over the place.
exactly.
I mean, you
Exactly.
have debtors talking about bankruptcy. I mean,
Yeah,
one of our influencers that you brought us, Kristen, had that great video from December 27th
yeah,
last year.
yeah.
And
Millions of
she made
views.
600 appointments she set up for us.
Yeah,
600 appointments, all because she was there talking about her evolution, right?
yeah, yeah.
So that's happening. So you're seeing people not as worried about the word bankruptcy,
not as
credit
not
scoring.
as
What
not as
else?
afraid of the word bankruptcy and recognizing I'm seeing a lot of people who've tried everything.
Hmm.
They've got the home equity line of credit, right?
Yeah.
They've tried the debt settlement. They've tried to consolidate their debt to a credit card. They've tried all of the things that we know don't work, and they are getting desperate because there are really only four ways to get out of debt. A lot of you guys know I talk about this a lot. You could fight me on this, but number one is budgeting your way out, which is going to be expensive because you're going to pay it, right? And you're going to pay it with some interest. The second way is to deal with it with bankruptcy. The third way is to borrow more money. And I always point out to my clients that we don't give alcohol to alcoholics. So doubling down on the thing you already have a problem with is usually not the best option. And debt settlement, as we know, is a scam and an unsafe version of a Chapter 13.
Mm.
So people are starting to realize that there just aren't a lot of options, and they've tried all of the other things and it's not working. And
Mhm.
so these other things are not going to work for people. We are going to be the last bastion of getting people back into safety. And that's what I'm out here talking to people about, making sure they know that this is a realistic option, and making sure
Yeah.
that they land in the arms and the hands of attorneys like you who will talk to them, who have a moment to say, you're going to be okay. The more kind and sympathetic you are to these people, the more they will love you
Yeah.
and leave amazing reviews for you. And if they feel like you're helping them in their darkest hour, you become
Helps.
even more of an influence in their life, I think. And
Yeah.
so they trust you more when they realize that they can trust you with their deepest secrets. So
Yeah.
this is why being
A,
a bankruptcy
a,
lawyer is powerful and
a,
important.
a little side note, then I'm going to open it up. And so please, someone, I would love to hear your opinion of what's happening in your marketplace as you're doing
Yeah.
this. But one time I had a client come to me and say, "Hey, I don't want to advertise bankruptcy. I want to advertise debt solutions or something." It was something like that. And we tested a lot of different things. I mean, ad nauseum tests. I just want to keep doing this because he just didn't want to pigeonhole himself into bankruptcy. And it was shocking to me how everyone understands what a bankruptcy is. And it is the easiest way to not confuse the borrower. When you have a borrower and it's like debt solution, it's like it slows it down.
Yeah,
It
it
actually
does.
increases the cost of the lead. So
Yeah.
I thought that
Yeah.
was interesting.
Increases their confusion because they think there's more options
Yeah.
and more safe options than there
Mhm.
are. And there
Yeah.
really aren't very many safe options.
No.
And so bankruptcy is one of the most safest legal ways that anybody could manage debt. And that's what I lead with usually.
You know what? I couldn't agree more. I think that where we're at numbers wise, I was in the office 2.5 days last week. I did 12 consultations. I mean,
Yes.
it was nuts. I've got 14 already this week. I know we're going to have more. And I keep thinking, oh, I want to cut these off. I just want to, we can't. We just
Yeah.
can't.
I'm in
Because if
this.
we do, then they're just going to pile. My paralegal's like, can we just like, I'll schedule them for January. I'm like, you can't do that. They're not going to wait. Like, they've got to get help now. They're stressed out. They're freaked out. It's real. We are the canary in the coal mine, and it's here. It's not coming. It's here.
Tara, I'm
And
so glad to hear you say that. That is my experience too. And sometimes I don't know if that's my experience just because I'm an influencer, just because I'm out there and I'm thinking, is
yeah,
everyone else feeling this too? It's been just like I've had 18 to 20 appointments every single week. And we finally just had to, and this week we're starting something new. You get to talk to my paralegal first, because I
Mhm.
can't I needed a break. But
Yeah,
I am so glad to hear that I'm not the only one experiencing this. I'd love to hear some other people's experiences. That's exactly how I feel, Tara. We gotta make hay while the sun is shining.
absolutely. And while it's a little quiet, we're trying to build systems as
There you
quickly as
go.
we can to be ready
So
to go.
important.
Exactly. Exactly. I think January, February, March are going to be crazy. I just really do. I
Yeah.
do.
Yeah, I completely agree.
The,
Thank you guys.
Real
I've,
quickly, Tara, NACPA board member on the call. Thank you for joining us, Tara.
Absolutely.
Good
Thank
to
you.
see you.
I see a lot of clients by way of, I'm in the office basically Mondays and Thursdays because I live about 2 hours away from where my office is.
Uh,
So I do a lot by Zoom and a lot of people ghost me. And I'm not seeing anywheres near the retention of people. I don't know how much of that is because of Zoom or what, but I'm not
Adrian, what
getting the.
percentage of your appointments are Zoom?
None. I
What
do
percent?
I do almost all my appointments by telephone.
Okay.
My initial I don't see clients in person unless they really need me to for some reason. But all of my appointments are scheduled by telephone. Then what we do is when they retain, a lot of them know they see my videos, right? So they think they know me anyway. But we do by telephone. Then we get them starting to pay. We get their petition drafted, and then many of them we file via Zoom. It's my experience that not everybody knows how to work Zoom. It's kind of a problem. And so we have to make sure everybody is set up and ready to go. Zoom would be a hard way to do an initial consultation because you really do have to trust that the other person knows how to use it well. And it's my experience that even people who say they know how to use it
Hey,
don't.
this is really interesting, actually. Tara, can you come back? Sean, I love your Tara, Zoom or phone or in person?
I am 100% remote, so every consultation we do by phone as well. I
Phone.
feel the same way. I don't want to mess with
Interesting.
Zoom. I don't want to be sitting there waiting for them to join and then they don't know how.
I love it.
I'm affirmatively reaching out to them by phone.
And
See,
That's a
I,
If
lot.
you're, yeah,
as we do the bankruptcy and as we get to filing, we will have a Zoom meeting with the
Yeah.
client so that we know they know how to work Zoom. But that's
yeah,
not how we bring them in the beginning because that would be cumbersome. And I would see that you could lose some people that
Okay.
way.
I've
Let,
never, I've never had a problem, very rarely, with people that can't use Zoom.
That's
Very
good.
rarely.
okay, well, Leonard, let me get back to that. Let me hang tight for a second. Sean DeVries. Sean, what about you?
Hey, happy holidays, everybody.
Hey, happy holidays.
Yeah, I mean, we're doing everything by phone. We do
Okay.
have our appointment automation system sends them a Teams link.
Mhm.
9 out of 10 people don't know how to use that,
Yeah,
so
right. Yeah.
we call them anyways, and that seems to
I
work.
okay, let's go to Fergani Law. Joe, jump on in here.
Yeah,
What
we
are you Zoom or phone or in person?
phone it literally
Okay.
99% of the times it's all phone.
Okay, so this is interesting. Let me see if we've got anyone else. Tyrus, phone, Zoom, or in person?
About 99% is phone. I've had a handful
Okay,
over Zoom and in
perfect.
office combined.
Volwinkle Law, last one who's actually on the call. Cassie, phone, Zoom, in person.
All phone.
Okay, so thank you, all of you, for participating. Here's the deal, Leonard. Here's the bottom line. There's so much data just from here, from the handful of people we have. Give the Zoom out, but then you got to get them on the phone, and then you got to convert on the phone. And if you don't feel comfortable like converting on the phone, there's plenty of places like you could go to for coaching around that. But you just heard it. I mean, we got
Yeah.
Florida, we got we got Maryland, we have Nevada, Ohio, Colorado, Kansas, or Missouri, actually. I mean, like, phone's the way.
I've got no objection to that.
Great. Good.
The
But-
nice thing about phone, Leonard, is you're initiating the call. You're not relying on them
Yeah.
to sit down and you're calling them and they have to respond to you reaching out to them. They have to answer the phone. A lot of them forget that you're people answer the phone. I'm like, hi, this is attorney Adrian Hines. I was calling for your 2 o'clock. They're like, oh my gosh, I totally forgot. Yeah, I'm ready.
Yeah.
So that's the problem with Zoom is you're asking them to initiate something. We don't want them to initiate anything.
Nothing. Tara, did you want to say something?
I just wanted to say that I think that the key is that people are going to avoid as much as they can. People are scared and they're depressed and they just want to put their head under the covers and forget about it. And if you rely on them to get online and take affirmative action, you're going to lose them.
I think we've focused a lot on whether or not we call or Zoom or how we get them initially, but let's be honest, not every client's going to pick up the phone, not every client's going to join the Zoom. So we make sure we follow up with a text message if they missed their meeting or anything like that, because 9 out of 10 people are reading their text messages, and they as long as you have some sort of follow-up in place, you'll get them back on the line eventually.
Yeah.
So don't forget about those people that may not be ready today to talk, but they might have another bad day and say, today's the day I want to talk about bankruptcy.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Does anyone do text to the clients?
Of course, we all text. Like, you have to text. When we implemented text on our lead follow-up, our appointments doubled. It did. I'm talking went up 200%, not double. It's like triple. So absolutely. But what's the question regarding texting?
Well, once the client is signed on board, I'm assuming that because they've been texting up to that point, they would continue to text going forward. When you're doing, whether they're paying or doing doc collection, just in preparation of filing, I assume because they texted initially, they would continue to use text.
Well, what do you guys find in the marketplace? Because I'm out of it by then.
Yeah, sure. The good question. So most software, whether if it's Jubilee or Best Case or
Clio.
Glade, have a texting feature. That way it links back to that case. We've used both and it's pretty successful. Before they file, we're using, our lead gen software, Keep Infusionsoft. After they've retained us, we kind of switch them into that client portal for them to be able to use.
That way, everything, Joe, is in their case management. So you don't have to look at two different softwares, but it's very important that they start texting in the new number.
Yeah.
So it drops into that. Adrian, you want to speak into that?
Yeah, that's the same thing we use. It's through your client management software. Like I have Clio, right? And so Clio, the Clio Grow is how we bring the clients in. We text through there and then we convert the Clio Manage and then the text messages come over. But I'm not texting them from my personal phone, right? Like that's not, I work really hard not to engage with people personally like that, because that's how malpractice can come and bite you in the tail. But it's through a platform that's going to be able to document these things in your file.
Adrian, any final comments?
My final comments are, I'm in Arizona. I got to see Phil last night, have dinner with he and his family, and taking a couple of days break here in the middle of chaos. But when it comes to the holidays, this is so important. We're going to be doing this again next year. I'm so glad Tara's on the same page as me. I'm glad everyone else is seeing what I'm seeing. And I think that we have nowhere to go but up. That's my friend
Absolutely.
Julie getting ready back there. Say hi, Julie. So
Excellent.
thank you guys. Thank you guys. I'm just very proud to be with you guys. I want you to know that if you receive my leads, am handing these people off to you with kid gloves. These are very vulnerable people. I'm just really grateful to be enmeshed with you guys because this is what is making this possible. We're taking away the shame and embarrassment about bankruptcy, and we're doing it on a big scale. And you guys are starting to see that some of the benefit of desensitizing people to this word. We just need to keep doing this, and it doesn't matter what time of the year it is. People are debt is debt.
There's no one out there that cares about the people they hand off like Adrian. I can't tell you. I get texts probably weekly from like, this person's unhappy. I'm like, okay, we'll figure it out. Because the debtor calls goes to her link, gets transferred by us to someone, and then they complain back to Adrian if they're not happy. And let me tell you, like Adrian really cares. So thank you for that, Adrian. That's why it's so successful. 7,000 live transfers later.
It is
We,
successful because of you guys. You guys are receiving these and you are doing the right thing with these people. You're not ripping them off and screwing them over. And that's what's so important. And I'm just really grateful.
awesome. Thank you, Adrian.